question.
Yes, we have Taryn and her daughter Penny. Taryn's going to share a question for you, Senator.
I'm going to follow suit and Vice President J.D. Vance.
I'm superstitious. You guys are making me nervous here, right?
My story here today, the public school in our district socially transitioned my daughter. And so my question for you is, there is actually currently a lawsuit against the Conejo Valley Unified School District in Ventura County, California, where 3 of my other minor children still attend. The district is being sued for providing minors with inappropriate gender-affirming surveys and curriculum without the necessary parental notification. With President Trump recently mentioning abolishing the Department of Education, what specific actions will your administration take to uphold my 14th Amendment right to direct the upbringing, care, and education of my children?
Wow. I'm so sorry this has happened to both of you. I can't believe that your own leadership has failed in this way. And I promise that when Donald Trump and I are back in office, you're going to have somebody who fights for you and fights for your right as parents. We want parents making these decisions, not anybody else.
Yes.
And I find with each of you, I want to know so much more about your stories than I know, and so much more than we have time for, of course. But I just think to take something that is so profound away from our moms and dads is such a violation of every right that exists. So the reason why we establish government is to protect our rights, not to destroy our rights. And it's such a big difference between the Democrats and the Republicans in this race. And ma'am, you mentioned education policy. I want to get into that. But let's be honest about something. One of the reasons why we have this incredible pressure. I mean, look, being a 14-year-old kid, being a 12-year-old kid, we know it's hard, right? Kids have all kinds of tough things going on when they're teenagers, when they're pre-teenagers. And I think, unfortunately, in the era of social media, sometimes we take normal adolescent insecurities and we tell, especially our young girls, well, that's not an insecurity. That's because something's wrong with you. And remember, we used to live in a country that recognized, no, there's nothing wrong with you. We just have to teach people how to be comfortable with themselves and to be comfortable with who they are. And the fact that we've gotten away from that, I think, is really profound, and it's very damaging. But we ask ourselves, why have we gotten away from it? And I think we have to ask ourselves, who's getting rich from what we're pushing down the throats of parents and children? And the answer is there is a $1 billion industry in cross-sex hormones, in gender transition, and I think that we have to go to the heart of the money and stop telling these pharmaceutical companies that they can make money by experimenting off of our children. It has to stop, and it will stop when Donald Trump is president.
You actually answered the next question we were going to do online,
okay.
So we won't do that online question.
Right.
Sure.
We're going to jump to.
But just on education policy, ma'am, I want to say that we don't even realize how much of our tax dollars, how much money of the people in this room goes into funding very radical curriculum. And we ask, how have the schools gotten away from teaching reading, writing, arithmetic and towards the more, crazy stuff that we're seeing the schools teach? And the answer is, often we're paying for it. And what President Trump and I are going to do is make sure our tax dollars go to educating our children and not to indoctrinating them. Stop the flow of money. And